Hi, welcome to Suds and Fluff Family Farm. My name is Martha, and thanks for joining me today on our little homestead in Maine. Hi, say hi, this is Octavian. So it is the third week of July. Actually, no, it's the fourth week of July now. And I wanted to do a video of the garden because I haven't done one recently, and there is a lot going on. It's pretty chaotic in the garden. It hasn't been, there hasn't been as much time to garden as I would like. We do have a new baby. She's now almost 4 months old. And so we're doing a lot of baby care. And also, did I mention, we have, in addition to the baby, we have 8 other children. So the garden for us is a fun place to show the kids, and it's a place to learn, and a place to attempt to grow some food. And we're also very focused on trying to start perennial plants and doing a permaculture style garden where we have a lot of perennials growing, as well as doing some annuals. So let's take a little walk around. So first of all, here are our elders. They've gotten huge. I'm gonna switch the camera. So you can't really even see how huge they are, but here's the elders. This is just our oldest patch of them. We also do have some more growing farther down here, and then over in the other bed, and then also we have a row by the road. We just made this nice little shady picnic table spot here, and I'm going to be clearing a little more in this area just to use the shade here as a nice little spot to be able to enjoy the shade. This is where I've been doing potting, so I do need to come and clean this up. And then over here we have a peach tree here. We have anise hyssop, which is blooming beautifully. And we have comfrey down here. And then these are some grape starts right here from a neighbor down the road. And they look like they are rooting and doing well. So I have one grape plant planted over there. And the plan is to use that post and then another post and then some wire to cultivate the grapes. But so far I just have one rooted plant way over there. This is the garlic that's getting pretty much ready to harvest. Then we do have a peach tree here. Yeah, so what else should we show? We've got a couple dahlia plants over there, and this is where the strawberries were growing, in these drawers. Yeah, we want to show the zucchini? Okay, so we will show the zucchini. Right here, these are some tomato plants. There, actually this year, these are clones from, I got a few really big tomato plants and got them in early. And then I was able to use the prunings to start probably 10 to 15 tomato plants. So a few of them are here. And then, wow, the comfrey. If you've ever grown comfrey, you know it really takes over. I've already cut this down to the ground. This whole section has flowered and been cut down to the ground once. It's great for feeding the bunnies. It's great to make a compost tea. And then I was gonna show you the little grapevine over here. I really need to come and cut this back, but this is where we're starting. This is the grapevine that we're starting here. And it's grabbing onto the fence here. Okay, let's show the zucchini. We do have some oregano here with these purple flowers. And then let's show this. This is called feverfew. This plant here. Let's go. Can you walk a little bit? It's got these little white flowers right here. I don't know if you can see that. So that's a new plant that we got at a plant swap this year. Oh yes, and do you know what that one is? This is catnip. And we actually read in a book that catnip is one of a bumblebee's favorite plants. and we are seeing them all over. There's one. We're seeing the bumblebees coming all over to these plants. There's one right there. More than any plant we have, the bumblebees and bees love this catnip. So let's show our little zucchini. I thought these were actually going to be cucumber for some reason, but nope, they're summer squash, some sort of zucchini. I think we have 2 plants here. And we have, this is Ella Campaign. This is a new addition from this year. Oh, are you feeling the asparagus? Don't go in the bed. This is also a nice new surprise that came back this year. This is asparagus that we planted from seed last year. Yeah, please don't trample it. So it's getting really ferny and tall. Can you get out of there? Because that's going to get trampled. I was thinking of maybe stringing some wire or doing some wire here because it's really, here I can set this down for a second. It's really falling over, as you can see. It's actually more like this tall. All right, come on out. So that might be good to have it trellised a little bit there. And let's just see also, here's what we got growing for zucchini. There we go. We got a few little starters in here that are looking pretty good. And then this plant too. All right, so what else are we gonna see? When you look over here, we have a peach tree. This is a pretty wild corner of the garden. We do have a lovage plant, a marshmallow plant. We have our red currant bushes back there that were actually something that was here when we moved in, and we're just trying to cultivate them. And we do get some yummy red currants. And this corner really needs to be weeded. We're getting a lot of motherwort and that terrible bindweed, which is like a wild morning glory on the fence. So it's really just a battle of pulling stuff out, and the bindweed we're bagging up and putting into this trash bag, and we have another one, and cooking it and throwing it out because that stuff is terrible, and after reading about it, it can root from a 2-inch piece, and it really just takes over. So here we are. This area is just weeds right now. We've got some oregano here, and it got a little bit trampled because we're trying to approach our amazing raspberry patch and having to kind of walk in these beds. This is really not... The raspberries got a little out of hand. We didn't stake them up until it was too late. We put a couple stakes in with wire, but it was really out of hand. So we're doing our best to pick the berries, even though some of them are kind of low on the ground. Like, you have to come and lift up the branch and then see what's there. But these are double gold raspberries, so they're actually pink, which is amazing. Let me see if I can get a picture of a ripe one here. There's one. So they're pink berries, and they are delicious. And we've gotten quite a few this year. Oh, hello, baby boo-boo. Baby boo-boo's here. So the plan with the raspberries is to actually do a good job pruning them this fall and get set up with stakes and get it set up in the fall so that come spring they're not overgrown and hard to get into. I actually did end up hacking my way through this patch over here. As you can see, we've got a little pathway here, so at least we can get into the middle of the bush here, which is nice and shady, and access the berries this way. There's a good one there. So we're we've got quite a few berries we're still picking. And then the other stuff we're growing is we have some corn here at the back. That's something Believe planted, and we have several little patches of it. And this patch of squash here is a winter squash called Autumn Frost. And these were some seedlings I did this year, so I was so happy that these plants grew. They actually ended up looking kind of bad at one point. Remember that? And some of them died. Here's a baby one right there. That's looking great. So I think there's 3 plants here, and we're just gonna let them spread, maybe be able to spread back to the corn, and hopefully get some winter squash. We do have some type of acorn squash here that it was a free seedling that I got kind of late, and we'll see how that does. The rest of the garden here is pretty empty. This is a row of elders here that we just started last year, and we've got this big blueberry bush that doesn't seem to give any berries, although it got huge. And then we have a teensy tiny berry bush. This is a Patriot blueberry, high bush blueberry, which actually does give berries this year. And this is years old, but it's just quite small. So I'm thinking we're gonna need to make the soil just a little bit more acidic, maybe watering with whey, or amending it somehow. But they're so good. I honestly wish we had many of those plants. So yeah, this is oh yes. And we also did a nursery bed here with some apple trees that I started. They're on dwarf rootstock. And a couple of them did have leaves, like right here. I have never done grafting before, so this was completely an experiment, and it was actually harder than I thought. So I wasn't really expecting the grafts to work, but a couple actually did. I didn't get them in the ground soon enough though. They were in the basement for a little bit while they got going, and it looks like they're kind of drying up. So we'll see even if they just grow like right here, this one, see how it's growing below the graft. Even if they just do that, there's the label, but I don't need that because I have a little map. Even if they just grow from the rootstock, that's gonna be fine. I'll let them grow until next year, and then I will try again cutting and grafting on some apples that we do want. Here's a little lavender. It's got kind of weedy. All right, now we're gonna go look at the greenhouses. Let's do the 2 cattle panel greenhouses that we have. Whew, it is getting hot in here. Yeah, it does get hot. We need to water these a lot. And these just came back voluntarily.
No,
These are sunflowers. These might need to go. They're getting tall, and I don't know. I just let them grow because we didn't have anything to put in here. So there's that, and then behind me over here we have cattle. We have rattlesnake pole beans, right? Rattlesnake pole beans.
Yeah.
Growing up the cattle panels. And we do have baby beans. Then we also have down here we have tomatoes. Again, these are ones that are just clones from some of the tomato plants I bought. And then I've got strips of sheeting that we kind of let them grow up and wind them around as they grow up. And we also had a lot of calendula come back from last year, so that's been growing here, and I have dried some of it. Oh look, there's a dill. I wanted to grow dill and cilantro and so many herbs. I just didn't get around to it. I didn't have the time, which is kind of a bummer. It's a little late now. That's reseeded from last year. So, and this section here is also tomatoes. So we've got 4 in the back, 4 in the front. Back ones are going to grow up the cattle panels, and the front ones get the sheet strips. Can I get through, please? And over here we have, look at this cute little rose bush. that Nathan got me this winter, and I planted it out here and it started blooming again. So that's kind of fun. Then we have a fig tree here. This is a Chicago hardy fig tree. This tree overwintered in our basement. And I pruned it and it has quite a bit of new growth, and it does have some little figs. Let's see if I can, there's a good one there, if you can see that one here. And then this is just like the gap between the greenhouses. We have more comfrey, another peach tree, which the peach trees are supposed to be dwarf sized, and we're going to keep them pruned. And this is a willow tree that we started, actually I think it was a couple years ago. You okay? You okay? Did the mail come? Oh. And we're trying to find a place where we want to put the willow tree. And echinacea here. Let's go. This is our second cattle panel greenhouse. On this side we have 4 tomatoes here. We have muskmelon over here. Oh, and I see a nice little melon starting to grow. See that melon? Right there? I have to point to it. I can't tell where I'm pointing my camera. Here. So yeah, it's cool how we can grow the melons on the trellising. They will trellis some, and I've done that before and it worked out pretty well. And we're letting some also grow on the ground. And then also 2 more tomatoes back here. Phew, it's hot. We have more of the rattlesnake pole beans here. In the front we have green beans, and we have another green bean here, and then also down here a couple green beans. And then in the back we have tomatoes. We've got a cherry tomato, which we've been getting some yummy bright yellow, it's the sun gold cherry tomatoes. We have a couple full-sized, another cherry, another full-sized tomato, and then these we have a couple Amish paste tomatoes, which are really, I love the Amish paste for a nice sauce and salsa tomato. And these tomatoes are looking really big, so hopefully we get a good harvest from those. Phew, that was sweaty. So that's what we are doing this year. We've got a few more perennials up on the hill and a few other things, like I didn't show the walking onions we have a big patch of. But that's what we've got going on in our fenced off garden. I think what I'm most excited about is that we're actually getting quite a few of the raspberries this year, and thinking about letting them spread so we can have even more. It'd be nice if we could actually have enough to preserve them, because right now we're just eating them fresh. That looks good. We got some lunch burger coming out, and it would be nice to be able to can some jam and be able to have more raspberries. And with our size family, we would need quite a lot. So just thinking about where we could let the raspberries continue to spread so that year after year we're gonna be getting more fruit. And also thinking about getting the grapes started and having those as fruit production in a few years. That's also exciting. What else is exciting about the garden this year?
The tomatoes?
We do have a lot of tomatoes, yep. Are you in the video? I showed the tomatoes. We're using a lot of our...
The sunflowers?
We do have some, yeah, I showed the sunflowers. We do have a lot of bunny poop and hay from the bunny cleanouts that we're using. So
what
it's really
the
nice.
gooseberries?
Yeah, I showed those. It's nice to have those, to have that on hand. We'll feed the bunnies the hay as it drops. We'll rake up the hay and use that as mulch. So we're not just, for the most part, using straight up hay. We're letting the bunnies eat the hay, and then the waste hay is being used in the garden as mulch, and usually that's also having their manure in it, so it's extra nutritious for the plants. And the bunny manure is great because you can actually add it directly to the garden. You can mix it 50-50 with dirt. Some people have even planted in straight bunny compost. It's not a hot compost that's going to be burning the plants if you put it on right away. If it's not been composted, it's not going to damage the plants like chicken or other animals' manure that have a hot compost. So I just love how gardening works so well with the animals that we keep. As I garden, I will come up with piles of grass and weeds and different plants that the bunnies like to eat. I'll go give them those plants, and then at some point the material they're discarding and the material they're using, it becomes waste for them, and then we take it back to the garden and it becomes a valuable resource for our garden. So it really goes hand in hand. Also with the chickens, we do throw a lot of weeds in for the chickens. They love to eat the comfrey. That reminds me, I should do a comfrey cut, especially by that grape plant, so that it can get some more air to breathe. Maybe I'll go ahead and just dig that one up. You know, but then again,
the rhubarb up there?
Yes, we do have some rhubarb, but the kids are very aggressive with eating the rhubarb. So we have yet, it would be great to have a huge row of it, but we just have a couple plants. This is where we're doing the comfrey tea. It smells awful, but you can dilute it or water with it, and that's a good fertilizer for the plants here. So I just remembered there's actually one more quick thing I wanted to document for this video, and that is that right here we had a Chicago hardy fig tree that was dead, and I cut it completely down to the roots, and I kind of assumed it was just gonna be dead, but look, it actually did just come back pretty nicely. So we'll see. I don't know if there's gonna be time for it to fruit, but that is pretty cool to see. So I did just cut this comfrey like I was talking about. I cut this plant right here, and then I've got some leaves of the comfrey around this grapevine for some mulch. And you can see this is where I just cut the comfrey right here. Here's what the other grouping next to it looks like. These just get bigger and bigger. So I think I'm actually going to come and dig this root up and put this comfrey somewhere else because it is quite close to that grapevine. And then over here is what I just cut, and I'm going to go and hand it out to the bunnies. Oopsies. Come on this side. Good boy, Bunnicula.
Rooster and the new rooster that we got from Craig are fighting from opposite sides of the fence. Oopsies. Better stop.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just hear how that one totally stopped going? What did you say? Did you hear a bear totally stopped?
Can you stop?
I don't want you to show me.
Okay. Jeez. She doesn't want to be on camera.
That's Willow.
Oh, Willow. Stop. You're messing with the camera.
Mom, ready? Me and hold it again. This is Nutmeg. He's a little good boy. Lara's petting him. Oopsies. Pretend you never saw me holding that egg. Because I don't want anybody to see me holding that egg. See, that's the nest that Lost and Found has. It's really fluffy. It's so cool. I want to marry it. I just want to marry that little nest, Losty. Come in, Mom. Hello. Hello. This. Whoopsies.